Hey,
Hey,
hello?
bro. Hey, hey, Marco. It's just Matt from Sales Sniper, buddy. Is now still an appropriate time to chat?
Yeah, you say Matt from South Sniper?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Okay,
Yeah, buddy.
gotcha.
Hey, dude. Yeah. So, you obviously booked in a call the other day about possibly getting some help with your
Ah,
sales and your processes and stuff like that. I think we have about a 30-minute call booked in. Are you still good for now?
yeah, I actually forgot, but yes, yeah, I still got that time. Yeah,
Forget. How could you forget, buddy? This is important.
uh, I apologize.
Oh, good, man. I should start off by asking, bro. Like, have you found what you're looking for in between sort of booking the call and now, or are you still looking?
Not really. I haven't found what I'm looking for yet. I had a similar call with another company, which is X, Y, and Z. So I'm in the making of kind of see what's for me out there and what can kind of benefit me.
All right, man. Would like I guess do you know what you're looking for exactly?
Yeah. We have a sales process, which is targeted for IT clients, but our conversion rate at the moment is not really, I would say, where it's supposed to be, if that
Okay.
makes sense, Matt.
Yeah, man. That makes sense. And I suppose like what is it about, I guess, the content or the advertising that you saw that kind of attracted your attention to actually book the call?
Yeah, because I saw that you guys are you guys specializing in fitness? Is that
No, we
what
do, we
they?
do sort of my background's in sort of fitness, so I do a lot of that. But we specialize
Yeah,
in, like, I guess, helping people sell high ticket packages. But yeah,
yeah. I know that people that done fitness in the past kind of have a good objection handling background. So I feel like that my team and the sales process that we have right now doesn't really kind of miss that part. Well, my guys kind of need a little bit of a refresh on that, if that kind of makes sense.
okay, all right, that makes sense. And so, like, what are you guys doing for, I guess, like a sales process now?
We do a two-way call, okay?
Okay,
Uh, and yeah, we pretty much do a two-way call. We got a couple of accounts, and we're looking to kind of get a higher conversion on that, because that seems to be what's been holding me back to achieve, a higher kind of revenue.
revenue.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, revenue, because I mean, right now we make 100K a month, but by calculating like a higher or possibly a higher conversion rate of the sales team, I would say that 150 is in the bag really easy.
okay. And that current process that you have, like with the two calls and I guess the few closures that you have and all that scripting, like how long have you been doing it that way?
Since day one, so you've been up and running for like say 4 years right now, and yeah, we pretty much haven't changed the process yet.
Okay, and
Which used to work really well on the start, but now I feel like that is maybe declining a little bit.
okay, and I guess like what is it that caused you to do it that way specifically?
I used to work for a sales company in the past, and I kind of developed my own script, and I pass
Mm.
on to my script to them. So it comes really from my personal experience, if that answer your question.
Okay, so do you like the sales process you have now?
Well, I kind of do, but
Well,
I
like what do
can
you like about it? Let's talk about the positives. What do you like?
I yeah, I like it because I made it. So it's
Well,
something
that's
that I
good.
do have.
Yeah,
It's something that makes
yeah.
me proud.
That's why I like my kids, right? I
Yeah.
made them, so yeah.
Like, yeah. So is that part? So it's like I made it. So it's something that I'm proud of. It can come from like 10 years of hard work, but yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And I suppose, okay, so you made it because you like it. Sorry. Okay, you like because you made it, but like, is there anything I guess that you think works really well right now? I mean, you're making 100K a month, right? So it's not all doom and gloom.
I mean, uh, it's difficult because if I were to tell you the truth, what I think is yes, I made that kind of sales system, but it was like a sales system that I learned 10 years ago. And, you know, maybe the way how marketing, as you might know, because, you know, I kind of saw your marketing as well. Marketing changed. So I guess like, you know, changing that will put us on a higher speed. So kind of changing that kind of script, you know.
Okay, but it's going fairly well for you, and I suppose besides, I guess, like, you know, changing the marketing, but in the sales process, is there anything that you would change if you could?
Yeah, the script himself, I guess, is a little bit outdated. You know, I guess since times are changing, we need to be able to have a new kind of injection of fresh ideas in the script.
Okay, and so how long do you feel like that's been a problem?
As I was telling you before, with declining, and that part of the last 2 years has been going from like 120 or 110 now to 100. So I want to try to fix it before it gets even worse than that.
Okay, so that like declining revenue, has that had an impact on your sales team?
Oh, well, yeah, because of course, you know, going from closing 6 out of 10 to going from 4 out of 10, and now it's making the guys feel like, is this still the job that I want to do? You know, how sometimes sales guys can in a pretty bad mood, and it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult to get them out of there. So I'm pretty much worried for them as well. You know, like get them accountable, keep them accountable. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like as a manager, sometimes you can feel like you have this, like, I guess, responsibility to ensure that everyone's doing things in a way that you feel confident with, right? You know, because you sort of, you know, you're like baby birding everyone. So, you know, there's mouths to feed, so let's make sure they get fed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I can empathize with that, man. I guess just so I can see the rationale behind why you might be looking to really, I guess, increase those sales conversions. But besides having the better scripting and the marketing, like what's the main reason you really want to kind of, I guess, really streamline this process now instead of kind of doing it the way you've been doing it for the last 3-4 years?
Well, I would say more, if you allow me to, is that right now we're not, since we've been declining, it kind of got me in a position where I feel a sense of insecurity. So it's like, is it next month going to be from 100 to 90? Since last year was 110.
Yeah.
So for answer your question, why the now is because I don't want to get to a point where I'm below the 100K because I've been working for 4 years to get to that point.
Okay. And how many guys do you have on your team?
6.
Okay. All right. And how many sales are you making every month right now?
Well, I don't. Let's say I can give you the analytic of last month.
Yeah. Go for
it. And that is like 30.
Okay. And what's the average sale value?
I don't do the math now. 3K, around the 3K mark.
Okay, cool. And I suppose, like, how many sales would you want to be making if you could?
I think there is a high chance to double on that because that conversion rate is below the 50%.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 30 sales where we got like 90 calls booked for 6 people in a month.
Okay, so potentially getting it up to like what, like 40, 45, something like that?
Yeah, that would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be an okay standpoint. That would bring me back to, you know, the 120, 130.
Okay. And I guess, like, before kind of talking to me, like, were you out there looking for ways to increase your sales conversions so that you can bring in more revenue and I guess have more security for your team?
Well, yeah, you know, I contact X, Y, and Z company, and we kind of have the same kind of code that we have with you. So we kind of evaluate the option there.
Okay, and I guess, like, I'm curious, man. Like, what is it that kind of prevented you from going with good old XYZ?
That's a good question. I guess yes, they give us the script, but they don't give us the 101. So and I think since my guys are going down on morale and accountability, having someone that can kind of shake them off rather than just me, you know, because maybe they're attached to my script, that would definitely help. So that's, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just do this just to make sure that what we do would actually work for you. But besides the scripting and that individual training, like, I guess, like, what are you looking for in a coaching or training system? Like what would be the ideal criteria?
Yeah, I need someone that can lead my guys to really shake them off and give them a new option that for sale, a new script they can adapt to them, they can be keep them accountable, can get them out of like a dark hole, you know, because sometimes when the morale goes down, they question themselves a lot. That's typical with sales guys. I've been there before, so I guess you've been there before that. Matt.
Okay, but like, I guess, like, why is it important to you now, though?
Yeah, because if I was 100K last year, 100K this year, I don't want to 90K next year. That's not an option. So, you know, fixing the problem before it gets out of control. I guess that's one mentor say to me once.
What do you mean it's not an option? Because it's always an option.
Well, I mean, that has to be changed because yeah, you gotta fix the issue. I kind of see the issue because I got sales experience, but I can't fix it on my own.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I suppose, you know, you're in sales, right? And like I'm in sales. And so there's an interesting thing, right, that I kind of hear a lot of people say, and it's something that sounds good on the surface but isn't necessarily always a good thing to hear or say. And that's, I will fix it no matter what. Right? And so I just like, there are options. Like, we've had 4 years of options and we've seen a steady decline. So, like, you know, and I'm on team sales, right? Like, I'm on team Marco. Like, you know, I think you guys can crush it. And I think that there's definitely some good ways, but like, we've seen a steady decline over the last 2 years. So, like, I'm not super happy with your answer of like, well, 90K is not an option, because I hate to tell you, man, it fucking is an option. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, I guess that's why I'm on the call.
Like, why, like why is it important to you though? Like, because like 90K, 80K next month, 70K the month after that, those are all options. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so say it's not an option, like what's going to be, like, what's the catalyst of change that's going to stop you from being in the same, I guess, I don't want to say mindset, but that's probably the only way that I can like articulate it well. That's going to bring you out of the same mindset that you've had for the last 2 years. Like, why is right now going to be different?
Yeah, because totally honest with you, if we decline, I don't see like how, because right now we're losing money. Like, the company is not profitable because the guys are not on commission only. They get a salary on top of it.
Okay.
You know, so I have to be able to kind of switch the gear because otherwise we close doors. 100K is not what yeah, it's not the margin that I want to make. I'm afraid that if it goes down and I won't be able to pay that salary, I have to let people go. And yeah, that turns into something that, you know.
Yeah. You ever heard of the, I don't know, this is a random question. Are you religious?
Yes, yes.
You ever heard of the term stewardship?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I hear from you. Right? Like, you have a moral responsibility over the people that are under you.
Mm.
Yeah. Because the first thing that you said was different than the second thing. You know? So anyway. So, like, I guess you sort of told me about the money, and you'd mentioned you guys want to make more money. And I know that that's a byproduct of supporting your team, but like, what's the ideal monthly income that keeps not only, okay, and is that the ideal, or is that like what you want to tell yourself is the ideal right now because anything else seems unattainable?
Well, the ideal, yes, in basic calculation would be 150K. That would put me in a much better position than I am right now.
Okay. So with what you're doing now, how close are you to being able to get to 150K and staying there consistently?
Not even close.
Okay, and I suppose like what specifically is you think the biggest things that are holding you back?
In terms of systems, you mean? Oh, in terms of as a person.
Both.
Well, as a person is letting myself out the fact that what I created is not working anymore. So I have to be able to kind of change that. And as a system is, finding the script or finding someone that can give us a little bit of a fresh injection in that.
Yeah. Like I don't feel like you have, because if you bring on somebody, I think that could be something that needs to be addressed. Like if you bring somebody on, right, and then they fix the issue, like you fix the issue. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm overweight and I hire a personal trainer, I've taken the action to do what I need to do to put myself in the best position to get the outcomes that I want. Doesn't mean that the personal trainer has done that. Like I have done the work. If you bring in someone to help with your processes, you have done the work. You know what I mean? And it's a good manager and a good business owner that can see past themselves and go like, okay, I need to bring in expertise in certain skill sets, which is why you don't do all the sales. It's why you don't do all the admin. Do you know what I mean? Because like expertise is expertise. And, so like, I don't think you need to see it as like get past yourself and be like, I need to understand that what I wrote isn't working anymore. Cause like, I can get a personal trainer to write me a program. And if I do that same program for 5 years, like it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like there has to be some variation, it's just the nature of the beast. So, I suppose like, it's just kind of a different way of thinking. Does that make sense?
Yes. Is that your advice on this?
I mean, it's not really advice. I guess, I guess it's just some sage wisdom. So just take it, just take it for what it is.
I definitely didn't see from this perspective. I definitely didn't. So.
I think like what I hear from you is that you have, again, that stewardship over your guys. And I think that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like you're kind of possibly like you like being the leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is a good attribute. And I think that's a powerful attribute for someone to lead forward. But also what I don't want you to get is stuck in a trap saying that you have to be the guy who knows every answer. Because that person doesn't exist. Right. And I think that from an identity standpoint, as an effective leader, you can, employ different people, consultants, and get the resources that you require. And it's still you doing the leadership. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I never seen from this kind of perspective. I thought more about getting someone on board to get it for me, but right now I feel like more to learn more rather than getting someone else. Like to learn more from someone else and to put it on my guys, so I can go back and being a leader.
Yeah, and you bringing that person in, it establishes that you're willing to do what it takes and find the expertise to get the people what they require to do the job they need to do. But let's just kind of go back to that 150K, because I want to kind of be really clear on the goals here. Like if we are able to get, if you were able to hit that 150K per month, like what would you do, I guess, like with that revenue?
Well, I talk about it a lot, and me and my wife, we were talking about it, and we really want to buy a house, like a holiday house, and we had this plan for like in the past 3 years, and as I told you, the revenue went down, so it kind of fell off the track there. So
okay.
I guess sense. Like going back on track on putting the deposit down for that would be a huge milestone that I can see in front of me right now.
And so how much do you need for that, for the deposit?
The house is 1.5 million, so I guess we need 150K up front, plus 100, plus other 70. Right now we are 180, So we short of 60. There you go.
Okay, cool. And then what's your monthly, I guess if you're at 150K, what's your monthly profit in that you'd be able to take home?
For what I take home currently,
No, like if you're at 150, like what would be your take home?
I would say under 50 a month. I'll definitely bring on like 650, $450,000 between the 450 to 650.
Okay, so what's that like? Okay, so around like 40 to 50K a month.
Yeah,
So within 2 months, you'd be comfortably be able to save that so you can buy the holiday house.
yeah, definitely.
And like I suppose being able to do that for your wife and for yourself, like I guess like what would that do for you personally? Because it's always important to have like a personal anchor on something.
Jesus, I'm like, I'm a goal-driven person, and I felt like the will make me happy to go back on feeling that I'm on track with my goal, and I
Okay.
didn't really felt that way. Like I don't feel that way right now.
So you don't feel happy about that stuff right now?
Well, like when you I guess you mentioned your kids, so I guess you have a wife, and when you kind of point a goal and you don't really achieve it, they kind of put a little bit of stress on you.
What do you mean by stress?
Well, there's two ways of stress. The stress on the business in terms of like, are we going to be profitable? And the stress is stress of performance, which is like, am I performing what I'm saying I'm performing to? Because it's like, okay, let's buy a house in the next 3 years, and that is not deploying. So, I'm not that kind of person.
Okay. And I guess like how long do you feel like that's been going on for?
And for the past 2 years,
Do you has that had an impact on you and your family?
yeah, definitely.
In
I
what way?
had, because I hardly look at the budget anymore. I feel afraid to look what's the budget for that house. I feel definitely afraid because I know that is not what it needs to be. We had
Okay,
the
so
under, we had the under AK. We were on track to have that budget by now. And every time I open the account, it's always to the same number, and that frustrates me a lot.
okay. That makes sense. And I suppose like how would it be how would it be different like if you were making that money? I suppose like what would you do besides that house? Like what would you do in your business that you maybe can't do now?
I would say being happy overall. I forgot what that feels like.
Okay.
You
And
know,
and
the feeling of sorry for interrupting. I think it's important. You know what the feeling you have when you close a sale, when the first
yeah.
sales the first time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm missing that feeling. So
Okay.
that's the part.
And in your business, like, are you like? I know that you're like the head of it, but I suppose is there anyone like? Is there any other like partners that you feel like need this kind of help too,
No,
or are you like the main guy,
no, I got the pants on.
the decision maker?
Mm-hmm.
Nice one. All right,
You got the right guy.
and I suppose like do you feel like it's time to start making some changes in that sales process so that you can get back to that 150K a month?
Yeah, definitely. That's why on the call, like taking an action, not taking action is not an option. There's gonna be an action. It's more likely what the program entails that can make me get an action, because we gotta move forward somehow. But is how we're gonna move forward. This makes the sense.
Okay, but again, man, taking no action is always an option.
That's a bad one at this stage.
You know what I mean? So okay, I guess like what do you think happens over the next 3, 6, or even 12 months if you don't do anything about this?
Well, or we kind of go random and say, "Fuck, let's see how this turns out and hope that it gets better, which you want." Or we get someone and kind of fix. But yeah, we just gotta hope that gets better. Because if he goes
Are you
worse,
are you willing to settle for hope?
uh, I know that I believe in God, but that's a little bit too much though.
Okay.
Too much belief in one way.
Okay. Well, I guess whose choice is it whether or not you actually take the steps to get it
Yeah,
fixed?
I'm fully aware it's mine. I'm fully aware it's mine. As a
Okay.
business,
So
but as a business owner, I gotta take the responsibility.
okay. So I guess are you sort of willing to, I guess, put some of that, stuff aside that we've talked about and start to really bring in some processes so that you can create that revenue and actually be able to, I guess like be that leader and be that guy that you kind of need to be.
Yeah. Definitely something that I can commit to.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll make sense, man. I suppose. Is there anything else that I need to know before we kind of move on?
Not really. I think he's done a good job of kind of, understand the situation. So he's more likely to see what you guys have and see if we can go along.
Okay. Well, I guess, man, like based off what you've said, I think what we're doing might actually work for you. I think because you know how you said that you're kind of struggling like within your process and that you feel like your team doesn't have all the tools that they really need in order to close deals. And I guess your process just feels a little bit like, I guess, a little bit outdated at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you mentioned it was causing you like a tiny bit of stress. Is that right?
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a tiny bit. It's a lot of stress.
Okay, that makes sense. And I suppose, well, like I guess if you feel it's appropriate, what I can do is kind of take you through how we work, what we do, and then from there we can see if it feels like a good idea to proceed. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I'm kind of open to that. Yeah.
Okay, man. So I guess like you have 6 sales staff. So what we would do is a 4-month training program for $60,000, and for that, this is what we'd give you. So we'd give you one-on-one training for every single staff member, and we would do that to ensure that they're given the best tools to be the most successful possible, so that they can stay within your organization, and I guess be the salespeople that you need them to be to hit your financial goals. Right. The next thing we would do is redo all your scripts. The reason why we would do that is because we really need to dial in like a really positive form of scripting. And I guess just let me ask you a question. How did you feel about the process that we've gone through today?
No, it was really smooth. Like I, I kind of see a point that I didn't see before. So that I can definitely see the value in that.
Okay, so that process that we've gone through is relatively similar to what I want to be able to teach your guys. So if you see value in that, then I'm glad, because otherwise it just wouldn't align. And I guess do you feel like um, that would be useful to your team to get that sort of scripting through?
Yeah, because mine is more an approach like an old school one, as you can know, like really going X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. Like they say that, we say that. So
Okay.
definitely, this one is more like a dialogue one, and I guess, yeah, I think it would be a good kind of. When I was talking before with you about fresh injection, I think that would be a good kind of injection in that.
Okay, perfect. And the next thing that we would do is, I guess, arm you as like the head of sales or the owner, with the tools to be able to create like the culture that you think you need, and give you some of the data management strategies in order to give your team the best opportunity to grow and be developed long term, right? And that's going to ensure that you have your flock, right, long term, that they're not kind of like offer hopping, or you don't get good people and they get bored and stuff like that, so that we can constantly develop them and create some plans through. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah. And then the last thing we would do is really kind of inject culture by having team meeting schedules, and by having somebody come through, and by having some of the SOPs that we have for our system put into your system. And that would, the reason why we do that is to really, again, give you and your team the best opportunity to be as successful as possible long term, but also create an environment where people want to stay and they can grow internally, which means that you don't have to hire and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we're trying to reduce we're trying to increase your overall profitability, not only through the high conversion rate in sales, but through a lack of turnover in staff. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay. And that kind of process, that structure that I've laid out for you, does that feel like it could be the answer for what you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm thinking on it because
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you think would be of real use to you?
the 101, and you're talking about the culture and being a leader, that kind of lights.
Why do you feel that's so important right now?
Well, because you're right. Like, let's say I get someone else to this and I don't become a leader, then I don't think this one being beneficial in the long term. So I guess that's the main standpoint that kind of will put me on an edge to make a decision on this rather than the other company that I'm thinking of.
What do you mean by that? Like I'm sorry, I'm just a bit like, can you just be, maybe I just didn't hear it correctly, but like,
Yeah.
can you just sort of explain what you mean?
Yes, of course. So as I was telling you, I got in touch with another company before, and I got in touch with you right now, and I really enjoyed the conversation. But it's more likely evaluating which one is the best for us at this stage. And I really think that this one has the culture standpoint, which the other one does, and the 101, the other one does. So yeah, I mean, just needed to kind of think a second and see.
I suppose, do you mind if I ask you a question? I don't want to kind of interrupt your thought process.
Yeah, no. Well, that would be, yeah, go ahead.
Why did you start your business?
Because of course, I was a sales guy and I wanted to kind of bring it to the next level. I was capped on income. So I was like, you know what? I can kind of transmit to other people what I like to do in life.
You're passionate. You're passionate about sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, because your team seems super important to you, right?
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, I know in a lot of organizations, man, salespeople are just treated like barnyard animals, like fucking milking, like a dairy cows. So,
well, the mini version of me. That's the way how I see them. So for being mini version of me, I have the responsibility to keep them in a better mood possible.
Why?
And well, because like as I was telling you before, you know how a sales guy gets in a bad mood and he has bad life and everything turns to shit, and after he quits. And I don't want that to happen to them. So I guess it's my responsibility to kind of put the edge on that, and keep them accountable and go for it.
Okay, so just on a pure, like, don't worry about programs, don't worry about anything. Like, what do you feel you need to put yourself in the best position possible to be able to nurture and guide your staff in the best way that you can, so that not only are they successful, but you're successful? Like, what do you think you need?
I just need to be a leader, like you were saying before.
What do leaders do?
In this scenario?
In general, what does a leader do?
Well, it does make decisions in terms of like, because I can think just about in this kind of scenario, because of course it's what I need to be able to see for become better. So I have to be able to change, make a scenario, and also step up a little bit and kind of, yes, I know they are mini version of myself, but I have to be able to get them better than myself.
Before we take this any further, like, if we come on, like, you're going to be expected to be more than what you are. Are you genuinely okay with being held to that higher standard?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because I have to. I have no choice on that. There's no chance on that. Because I trust what you say. So I have no choice on that. Because I know what does it mean not doing it. I can kind of see what does it mean not doing it. So definitely.
Okay. All right, man. Like, I don't, to be honest, man, I don't really have anything else for you from here. What we would do, and like, if you think it's appropriate, is we would go ahead and organize like a 30% down payment. We could do that with a Visa or a debit card. Then from there, we go through, we organize your onboarding. I introduce you to my operations manager. We do staff introductions. We send you a rather large packet of information that we need to get, because we really need to understand your product as well as what your sales staff do. Because we have to be able to chunk that information down into something that can really be digested easily, so that we do keep our sales staff, but also we can onboard if we need to. Then from there, do some staff assessments, and then start to kind of, I guess, take the steps to hold you and your staff to a higher standard. So, like, would that be appropriate, or like, how would you like to proceed from here?
Yeah, I think we can definitely start. I can see the value in being a leader and seeing the other company that they don't really provide that. So I can definitely see this kind of what's the benefit of that. So I'm willing to start.
Okay, cool. Yada, yada, yada. Sweet.